Hold up, did we just witness one of the most chaotic, unpredictable and downright entertaining episode of WWE RAW in a long time? From cage match stipulations to surprise wins and monster brawls, this RAW had it all. You won't believe who finally walked away with their first single title, and trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because we have got a showdown that's going to blow your mind. Let's dive into this wild ride. We started the night off with clips of wrestlers entering the building. Now, usually it's all pretty standard, walking, waving and maybe the occasional shout out to fans, but oh no, not tonight. Right as Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio were making their entrance, what do we see? Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman straight up brawling. Are these two just doing this non-stop 24/7? Can we get them their own reality show at this point? Then Liv and Dom kicked up the show. Liv's out here talking about her revenge tour, and I have gotta say, she has been checking things off her list like it's some kind of wrestling bucket list. But Rhea Ripley wasn't going to let her shine for too long. Rhea interrupts and hits us with the big news. She is officially cleared to compete at Bad Blood. And the icing on the cake, Dominic is going to be locked up in a shark cage. Yeah, you heard that right. Dominic will be hanging up there like a piñata, unable to interfere. Reminds me of the time when Chris Jericho was caged during a Roman Reigns match back in the day. Classic. Of course, Rhea couldn't leave without sending a message, and bam, a headbutt straight to Liv, leaving her stunned in the ring. Rhea's not playing around, folks. Next up, we had Sami Zayn taking on Ludwig Kaiser. Now, Ludwig was in control for most of the match, and when he hit that brutal kick through the steel steps, ouch. Can you talk about how it's always human skull versus steel and steel never loses? But Sami being Sami, he pulled it out at the last second, landing a picture-perfect helluva kick for the win. Ludwig Kaiser though really impressed me. He wasn't just some stepping stone. This guy put up a fight. The match told a story, and the story was Gunther is not happy. He came out and it looked like he was about to accept Sami's challenge, but instead he hit us with the ultimate Uno reverse card and just said, nah. I was cracking up with laughter, and to quote-unquote Wade Barrett, it was comedic genius. Backstage, we had a heart-to-heart between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Kofi brought some of the New Day's classic gear, trying to cheer up Xavier, but Xavier's having none of it. He's all about being serious, reminding Kofi that they haven't won a title in 3 years. 3 years. It was like a motivational pep talk in sports movie until Chad Gable and the American Maid showed up to mock them. Guess what? That set the stage for New Day versus Creed Brothers later on. Now, it was Dragon Lee versus Carlito. The match itself had all kind of outside distractions, but the moment Rey Mysterio showed up, it was like cavalry arriving. Dragon Lee got the win, but I gotta say, with Rey in his corner, he has got a bright future ahead. Then we were set for Miz versus Bronson Reed. But before the match even kicked off, Braun Strowman attacked Bronson Reed. Miz looked like someone who just had his lunch money stolen. While they were arguing, Reed took advantage. Security tried to break it up, but Bronson hit the tsunami on 2 of them. And honestly, I think security should get hazard pay for dealing with this guy. Adam Pearce later announced a last monster standing match between Reed and Braun next week. It's obviously our last man standing match, but we definitely should address these giants as monsters. Just look at all the destruction these two made over the weeks. I'll be tuning in for sure. Next up, Drew McIntyre cut a promo reflecting on CM Punk's words. He's talking about the Hell in a Cell, how it has messed him up both mentally and physically. But guess what? He's going in anyway. He's determined to end Punk's career, as he explains how he has broken Punk before and he will do it again. But this time it's gonna be permanent. This match against Punk is going to be a grudge match for ages. Also, backstage, Pete Dunne took a cricket bat to Sheamus. Sheamus looked seriously hurt. I do want to see where this rivalry and the bad blood between these former allies go. We got a fun match between Unholy Union and Damage Control. Io Sky continues to impress and Damage Control came out on top. I have to point out one funny moment when the camera was panning over the signs in the crowd. Wade Barrett commented that he paid the cameraman not to shoot all of the Joe Test signs. Baritone commentary is gold, pure gold. The New Day looked back in sync for the first time in weeks. Xavier Woods was on fire. At one point, Kofi got suplexed from top rope by Julius Creed while Xavier delivered suplex to Brutus Creed. We had some classic tag team shenanigans with the blind tag that the ref didn't see. Unfortunately for the New Day, American Maid capitalized and got the win. Note that before Kofi tagged Xavier, Kofi had hit Trouble in Paradise. Had he gone for the cover, they may have won. Oh, and we got another cryptic Wyatt 6 video. It seemed something different from before, calling out to someone not in a hostile way but in a friendly tone. Maybe it's directed to Braun Strowman, but who knows. The main event of the night was a showdown between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker for the prestigious Intercontinental Championship, and boy did this match deliver. The bell rang and right from the get-go, Jey Uso came out swinging. He had the upper hand in the early moments, using his speed and agility to keep the powerful Braun off balance. It was clear Jey came into this match with a chip on his shoulder. His hunger to finally capture his first single title in WWE was driving him. But we know Braun Breaker, and it didn't take long before the powerhouse found his rhythm. Suddenly the tide turned and Braun's sheer strength took over. He tossed Jey around like a ragdoll, flexing his muscles and showing off his power. And honestly, it seemed like Braun was getting a little too cocky. The man was flexing and taunting and you could feel the momentum shift. Then came the ad break. And just like that, we returned to find Jey back in control. The match became a back and forth affair, both men throwing everything they had at each other. Every punch, every slam, every near fall had the crowd on their feet. You could hear the energy buzzing through the arena. This wasn't just a match, it was a battle of will, determination and pride. At one point, Braun Breaker hit a massive spear on Jey outside the ring and you could feel the impact in the back rows. But Jey Uso wasn't out of this fight yet. Out of nowhere, Jey delivered a spear of his own once they got back in the ring. The crowd popped and Jey followed it up with a picture-perfect Uso splash. You could almost see the championship slipping into his hand. But no, Braun kicked out at 2.5. Jey was in disbelief. The crowd was right there with him, groaning in frustration because we have all seen this story play out before. Jey Uso so close to a huge win, only to fall short. At that moment, everyone in the arena was thinking the same thing. Not again. And don't even get me started on the referee sucks chant. Those chants have become a staple these days, especially when the match is this intense and the stakes are this high. But back to the action, Braun wasn't done. He lined up for another spear, this time outside the ring, but Jey, showing his veteran instincts, countered it perfectly, sending Braun crashing through the barricade with a spear of his own. The crowd erupted as the tables had turned once again. The energy in the building was electric, with the fans firmly behind him. Jey knew this was his moment. He dragged Braun back into the ring and with the crowd chanting his name, he hit yet another spear. Jey climbed the ropes, looking down at Braun Breaker and delivered one final thunderous Uso splash. The referees had hit the mat for the third time and just like that, Jey Uso was crowned the new Intercontinental Champion. The crowd went absolutely wild. The emotion on Jey's face told the whole story. After years of being part of a legendary tag team, he had finally secured his first singles championship in WWE. This wasn't just a win, it was a moment of validation, a crowning achievement in a career that has been defined by resilience and heart. Jey Uso, the new Intercontinental Champion. Let that sink in. After all the near misses, the heartbreaks and the countless times he came up short, Jey Uso finally has his moment, and it's one that WWE fans will remember for years to come. I'm giving this episode of Monday Night Raw a 5 out of 5 stars. The drama, the action, the storytelling, everything hit. From Bronson and Braun's chaotic brawl to Jey finally capturing gold, this was a top tier show. If you enjoyed this review and want to stay updated on all things WWE, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Plus, leave a comment below on what you thought of Raw this week.